Hey, this is Gary King here at La Forêt. Well, here we are. We're going to do our end of year coming up, December. This is going to be a two-parter, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, especially about a certain band that I've spoken about in the past. But what I wanted to do was, first off, I want to read a foreword from the author from Mark Devlin's Musical Truth 3. Now, I'm sure Mark won't mind me reading this. There's no copyright on this because I've got the book which Mark sent me, signed for me, which I paid for. I didn't get it for nothing. But I just wanted to read some excerpts just from the very, very beginning of the notes forward from the author, because I think it's very poignant and Mark puts it really, really well. So anyway, like I said, if you believe in 10%, just 10%, that's all you have to do is look at 10% of the shit that's gone on over the last few years and scratch your head and say, well, this doesn't really make sense. Well, it makes sense once you start looking into some of these things that we're going to talk about, old me and Serge. But anyway, here we go. So this is what it says. Although this volume follows in the spirit of its predecessors in continuing to expose the controlled corporate music industry, by necessity, its subject matter has to stray away from strictly music-related business at several points, even though everything is connected when all is said and done. Despite having researched the New World Order agenda of those who like to consider themselves the world's elite, though I prefer Mark Bessario's take on this, they're the elites of the sludge and slime that gathers at the bottom of the garbage can, which I think is brilliant. And despite having learned about and warned about their devastating plans for humanity, I still never saw the events of 2020 and beyond coming, and never imagined that the crazy psychopathic maniacs would have had the audacity to throw everything in they had all at once. And this is not their regular modus operandi. That has always been involved them taking slow, gradual, incremental steps towards their desired goal, lest the masses notice what is happening and be alerted to the agenda. Whether through supreme arrogance or panicked desperation, the fast track into the end game, which has been in the controller's sights for so very, very long, has hit warp speed, and the risk of its true nature becoming obvious for all to see has for them had to be written off as unavoidable collateral damage. This book, though it also completes my trilogy of expose of the devastating nature of the music industry and those who populate it, has been produced in urgent response to recent world events. As such, it delves into the subject areas which fall outside of my usual remit. This being the case, it's my hope that it may serve of great value in waking up family members and friends of my regular readers as a crucial and epoch-defining juncture in the timeline of human activity. Volume 3 then is very much a product of its time and spends many of its pages examining the strange and dangerous days of 2020 and beyond, specifically the reactions of many musicians, I would also say artists and celebs, to the circumstances in which we have all found ourselves forced to live with. While the vast overwhelming majority have simply kept their mouths shut for fear of appearing politically incorrect, which might harm their careers, a great many have revealed the true nature by shamefully and treacherously reinforcing official narrative. This book calls them out for their treasonous positions. Conversely, a tragically small few have stood up to be counted, and these names are therefore commended as honorary exceptions. Well, I'm not very good at reading out from a book loud. You probably got that, but there you go. I think you get the message here. So anyway, we're going to go ahead. I highly recommend, if you're interested in music and entertainment, that you read Mark's books, because they're brilliantly done. It took him a long time to put these together. And none of this is through bias either. So those of you out there that want to turn around and say you're only saying this shit because you're not successful, we've all been successful in our own rights. This has got nothing to do with this. And the two groups that we're going to look at the moment, a solo artist and a band, I think kind of spell it out, and then you can work out over the last, say, 30 years exactly how they've been using this as leverage for many agendas. So here we go with old Serge. Right, we're recording. Oh, me and Serge are here, and well, this probably, hopefully, will come out either just before Christmas, i.e., Christmas Eve, which means everybody won't listen to it anyway, or just afterwards in the Christmas week. And we've been wanting to do this for a long time. We've done a little bit of research into it, and me and old Serge here, all right, mate.
Hello, mate.
We were just talking about why we decided to look into, as you can see on the screen here, old Annie Lennox. And we can't even remember why we started looking at this, but I think it was probably something to do with what I was listening. Chris and Don were talking about, again, these family connections.
Well, we were looking at photographs as well, and like you said, I mean, you know, this image here, and the representation of this image, and then another famous person.
Oh, yeah, hang on, we've got to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it for him.
Do it for me.
Gimmicks are always best for videos, right?
Another famous singer. And you said, well, look at the comparisons. And we know people copy each other, but, you know, why? Why is there the black and white image and the one eye covered over, and like you said on there, 33 at 33? Yeah,
I mean, come on. I mean, okay, so let's just say so what we thought we'd do, old Serge, he put a bit of a little storyboard together. It wasn't as big as we were going to do, because we thought we can't go too mad with this.
No.
Now, we wanted to do a 3 kind of parter. One is this one. The second one is that warning band that I keep going on about, right? And I'll just pull up a quick picture here. Not that one.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that one. This is all part of it. But in this folder, and is it going to... Where is it? Oh, here we are. Right. So, you know, like I said, we wanted to do one about Annie, and then about these clowns, these people, whoever they are. Right. Now, I'd like to say, and the introduction that I've done, which is you've already listened to, with some of the background stuff that Mark's written about, Mark Devlin. It kind of really sums it all up. And as being involved in the music industry for so long, in a sort of mid to just above mid level, it's only when you start seeing all this stuff, right, you really start to understand how
Britney Spears image.
Yeah, how these people youngsters have been manipulated, and how it's just a constant continuation, right? That's what it is, a constant continuation of the same story. Now, as I said in my introduction, we are no way in which shape or form criticising these characters for their artistic capabilities, or whatever you want to call it, because they're all really good at what they do, and as we've said before, they have to be. So we wanted to do one on we're calling it She's a Missionary Man, right? which is obviously on the title, and also the one about the band from Mexico, and then we're also going to do one this week on the
Police and Crime Commissioner.
Yeah, the Police and Crime Commissioner. So we're probably going to be on the MI5 hit list.
Changes to the UK passport. And the reasons why.
Passports. He's done a big old thing on this, and also on the City of London Police.
City of London Police and the Home Secretary.
Home Secretary. Secretary.
So it's going to be really one of them things.
Yeah,
that's a good old Al Murray would say. That it's a good old British name. That
good old British name. So, without trying to be being too serious with this, we've got some pictures here, and then we've also got a bunch of websites and stuff that we're going to read from. So we thought we'd just go through a few pictures first. Now, I know we're all preaching to the choir, you know, it's the usual story, we're preaching to the choir, but when you look at some of these things and you go, well, it is basically all about repetition, right?
Yeah.
The more you see, and old Serge just pulled up this great thing with this so-called German-Russian woman coming down in the capsule of the
cockpod.
The cockpod, right? Yeah. I mean, it was so obvious that it wasn't real. But anyway, we'll do something about that later on. But so, you know, you've got this picture here, And of course, this is exactly the same kind of picture that you saw Shania Twain doing a little while ago. But of course, this is quite old now. So 33 at 33. Now, we all know our old numbering stuff and so on and so forth. So we got asked a question really about, what was Annie, who is Annie Lennox? What was this person brought in for? There is no doubt that this person is an incredibly good singer, right? I was never a Eurythmics fan or anything like that. But when you start looking at some of these pictures, you always get the same thing. Now, Sergi sent me a load of these pictures, right? And when we read the wiki on, because it's got to be true, right? If it's wiki,
especially with the new DNA thing.
Oh yeah, with the DNA strand stuck at the top, which is quite funny. But who is this person? Where did this person come from? What are the connections? And if we look at a few pictures here, it's like this one, right? Now I know that women can dress up as blokes and blokes can dress up as women, but I don't actually know any real women who kind of look like this. I'm sorry. But we're not going to make a big thing about this, about whether this person is or isn't. See, they love the roses. That's another thing. And then Neil said, this picture here is like David Bowie crossed with Michael Jackson. Right, and a picture tells 1,000 words, right? So he sent me a few other pictures. We just use a few pics. You can find them for yourself. A lot of this, as we said earlier, is about research, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you've got to sit there and spend a bit of time doing it. And
we can't do it all for you. Yeah. Chris and Dom can't do it all for you,
As Gary said, I mean, it's about looking at things and analysing it and seeing why. And there's no criticism into a performing artist or what they've done in their career or what other things they've been involved with, but it's just the links.
Yeah.
When you look at the first thing, and it's just like comes from not just saying Annie Lennox, but other people, comes from a menial background and ends up
one of
the top performers in the world. And other people say, well, they worked hard for it. Well, did they? We'll talk about that as we go through a few things. Yeah, they probably did. But there's always other things that have helped people on their way.
Exactly. And the old term of it's not what you know, it's who you know. And we're not criticising that, right? But when you start seeing these kind of pictures like this, you go, what are you doing, right? I mean, are you serious? Come on. I'd never seen I'm sorry, I'd never seen this before. I mean, straight up and down torso, whatever, and then this was another good one with the gloves, the badly fitting gloves. I'm a mime, but why are these gloves like this? Surely if you were going to do something this good, you'd get some gloves that fit. Like I said, we're just going to snap through some pictures here. Obviously, a supporter of this. That's a rather non-feminine walk, should I say, just like that is. And of course, people when they get a bit older, it's a bit different. We understand that, right? But of course, when you become an OBE, and by the way, what colour are you wearing? Purple. So we know about that, and we also know a little bit, and again, it's only our 10%, right? It's old Surgeon's Fence 10%. The pearl necklace, about that, right? And then I thought this was a funny one. The guilty feminist. I don't quite understand what that means, but I found this one. I thought that was interesting as well. And of course, old Annie is now really kind of like everybody said, they're lifelong actors, right? So they start off like old Bono, and the rest of them. They start off as these cool musicians and singers, and they're all anti-establishment, and then they all end up, winning awards, OBEs, knighted, all this kind of stuff, and people can't put the two and two together. So, of course, Annie is a spinning ball feminist. Now, I have got no problem with feminists. I think you should be able to go out there and do whatever you like and get a job done and good for you. But if you demonise other people over it, then I think maybe at that point you've got a bit of a problem, right? And like we said here, you know, they all do this, right? And everybody thinks this is the peace and the victory sign, right? Well, it seems to me, as I think it does with you, mate, that we are living in a world of some of the most unpeaceful times since 2 conflicts that went on in the last 100 years, right? So they all do it. It's become like, again, one of those things that you see people doing all the time, and it has other meanings to it. And you could really go too over the top, look into all this, but anybody, like I said, go out and just look at some hand signs, see what they're about. Are they real? I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but they're all doing it, right? Okay, and they also have this obsession with the sun symbolism. So, you know, again, I don't know what, let's just say Annie and her husband are legit. What her husband thinks about all of this, right? I don't know. And again, pushing the old spinning ball arc. And what we'll do just quickly on this, of course, we all know that Annie's imagery was very, very close to David's, who's one of these, right? And Neil said, oh, Sergi goes, yeah, but look what else he's doing. He's not just doing the old, he's got his little pinky finger sticking up, and if you turn that round to the camera.
Yeah, and also if you go on to the old little circular bit there, he's doing the...
Oh, yeah, he's got his little... And also, if you noticed, old David, even though he was a super good-looking whatever, always had great hair, right? There was no way he was going to go bald, was he? No. Right? But if you look at him doing that, right, and then you come back here and you go, well, who's that then? Well, that's anybody who knows, that's older Annie with a gimpy eye, right? All the people that we look at and have looked at, including old Diamond Dave, I've lost him now, including old Diamond Dave, they've all got a wonky left eye. Now, I don't know anybody with a wonky left eye. Well, I mean,
only mine when I've drunk too much wine.
Oh yeah. Well, this is Marty Feldman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Marty Feldman, right? And me and Neil, unfortunately, back in the day, we had a haircut like that. That's how our mum used to cut our hair.
Great big.
Yeah, and we look just like this, like you were from the band Sweet. Now this doesn't look quite so wonky here. I don't know. We're just, like I said, we're just throwing up some pictures. Looks very much like Paulie Yates there, with the headband on and so on. And again, that's fine. And then apparently, once again, this is Annie's tattoo. So again, those
freshly done by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's only a few weeks old. Still a bit red round there. You know, there's the old sun symbolism in the heart again. Nothing wrong with a bit of sun. There's nothing wrong in that, right? But when you look at some of these, again, these pictures, you've got to ask what is the connection, and why is it a constant repetition of when you see old Mad Madonna doing the same thing. You saw the pictures with Beyonce. They all do the same thing. It's just a constant repetition, year in, year out, the same thing, just rolling out the same dribble, and of course everybody finds it. I'm just scanning through. It's difficult at the same time. Like this here. So it's the same picture, right? It's the same thing. Got the wings, and people say, "Oh yeah, but you know, she's just an angel," and all this kind of stuff. But we know about all the symbolism. So those were a few pictures. As I said, we got old Annie there doing the Elvis thing. Of course, we got the old Kadesh there. 2023 Men of the Year issue, kind of dressed up like a guy. And it just goes on and on and on. And when you put a wig on Annie, all of a sudden,
the one above is a good one.
Yeah, and it's a great one. See, so you know, Dave, there he is, little chubby waist, very small face, very small mouth. Annie's got the. That's why they made his hair bigger, so it made him look a bit taller.
But the photo you got above with the height difference, like you said.
Yeah. So here's a picture. You'll find a lot of pictures of them together, and Annie's normally standing astride. And I don't think it's because Annie's particularly tall. I think Dave's really small. But people will look at this picture and they'll say, yeah, but he's standing away from her. Well, he kind of is a bit, but the hands are about the same size. So I would say that you can see that this person is quite a lot taller than
To me there, he looks a little bit more like Simon Pegg and the old Poison Dwarf.
Yeah, exactly. He does look like Simon Pegg, right? And then I pulled this one up. And who is this? Who did you say this was?
Oh, Brandy Carlisle.
Brandy Carlisle, right? So
American singer-songwriter, country and western, that type of stuff. But
yeah,
always dresses
as a bloke, right?
Suits, dresses as a bloke. And you look at the other photographs that are on there.
Yeah.
You know.
And when you zoom in at the hands, you got the old big ring finger, and that doesn't mean all of it. It doesn't mean necessarily that that all women with long ring fingers are a bit sketchy. But if you do an experiment with your girlfriends, you will find out that maybe 1 out of 100 might have a long ring finger. I don't know. So we'll come back to some of these pictures, but I just wanted to bring this one up, right? And again, Sergio, he sent me this. He goes, yeah, I'll have a look at this one. So
yeah, I was quite amazed. There was quite a few of them on there. Obviously, it's at one of the music awards things, so that's why the old...
Yeah, it's got the old parlophone there.
Yeah, parlophone thing that's at the back. I mean...
But what kind of middle-aged woman turns up dressed as Minnie Mouse? Well, this kind of woman. And this kind of woman. And this kind of woman. Sarah Jessica Parker. And this kind of woman, the classic, this kind of woman, and the old bath bag, right? Okay, and then we look at something I found for Madonna's thing here, which is a very weird name for a, I think it was either the album or a show, and there you are doing the as above, so below, the Mickey Mouse and the pyramid. Now, a lot of people will say, well, everyone was into Mickey Mouse, till you look into the backgrounds of the Spears. Now, who was it? It was Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera,
Britney Spears,
Britters, and who's the other mush? Can never remember his name. Not Ryan Reynolds. The guy from the second. Oh God, any awful when you can't remember anything.
Let me just
the guy from.
Go for it. We looked it up earlier.
But anyway, the guy was in the second Blade Runner movie, so they were all part of the Mickey Mouse Club. Now, again, we went to a lot of the. Mum used to drop us off at the old movies, and we watched all the Walt Disney films, but we didn't see anything in it at the time. But we know that there was something very, very dodgy going on with Walt, and these kids could have been under that mind control sort of program, right? So that is why they do all this, because again, mature grown-up people would not do this under any circumstances, especially this one here, who's probably one of the worst of all of them. But anyway, so that was, just wanted to bring that up in this picture extravaganza. So we're mumbling a bit here because said this machine is a little bit slow. But what we'll do is, first thing we'll do is Sir's going to read a little bit from his note sheet.
Well, I mean, we looked at it. I mean, when you look at the, it's on there. This is what I looked at. And I looked at lots of links and lots of information. There's lots of information out there. Not to say that, everything that's put on Wikipedia isn't or isn't true, but you can link in to a lot of the information, and then look at the songs and the reasons why. And the thing you picked up on is 25th of December.
Oh yeah.
A Christmas Day baby.
Yeah. So Annie was born on the 25th of December.
Scottish singer, songwriter, political activist,
and philanthropist.
Yeah.
So, without sounding crass or just not nice, you know what I mean? when anybody is tagged with the philanthropist badge, your Jovies, all your people like that, you know that if you look into it, that it's all really just a bit of a money laundering scheme. But what I was going to say with this and looking into this, because I remember seeing the tourists on Top of the Pops, and of course they did the "Only Wanna Be With You," right? So again, you're supposed to believe that a band from nowhere discovered this person, right? Now, again, we keep all this fairly short, right? But born on Christmas Day,
Aberdeen.
right? So this is our research work. It's detective work. You find these people here, right? And then what you do is you then find their parents and grandparents and so on. And you come up with a page like this, okay? And I had a quick look at this, and I know Chris and Don were doing this, but there's old Annie down the bottom here, right? And then when you start scrolling up through, now all this could be bogus as well. I'm not saying it's true, but I won't do it. But what I'm going to do is put the links to these in the description, as always, as everyone does. But you start looking at some of these people and their family members, you will find out that this person here, our dear Annie, is directly linked to dukes and duchesses and members of specific families. So when family. So when they come up with this story, and they say that her dad was she was excellent at music, poetry, and artwork, right? But that her dad was basically a welder, and I think it says here her mum was a cook somewhere anyway. So a welder and a cook get to send their daughter, so-called daughter, to the Royal Academy of Music.
Now, I looked up the prices, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
The price range for courses from an intensive year course or a 2-year course to a 3-year course. And I know we're talking about fees in 2025, not back in the day then, 1970, 71, whatever it is. But
1971,
yeah, like you said, somebody that is able to go to the Royal Academy of Music, and you said dropped out.
Yeah. So
out.
Poor old dad, right, who's working his nuts off welding, gets enough money together to send his daughter for a 3-year music course, and then she drops out. Well, I'm afraid your dad would be kind of a bit pissed off, right? And it says here that appeared on a ITV talent show, New Faces, right? Lennox was a flute player with a band called Dragon's Playground, right? Here we go again. Here's the same old stuff, right? All the mythical stuff that appeared on ITV's talent show, New Faces. Now,
we know
all about New Faces because we were kids. We used to watch it, right, on a Saturday night, right? From 1977 to 1980, and then became the lead singer of the Tourists, a British pop band, and her first collaboration with Dave Stewart, right? And sorry, keep laughing. So apparently she dropped out of the Royal Academy and just happened to bump into a couple of blokes from this band who then signed her up, and she ended up playing in this band for a little while. Now, another very interesting one. Now, let me just have a quick show you, quick here. The story of Air Montserrat. So, anybody who knows anything about recording studios and so on, Air Montserrat was one of the biggest legendary recording studios of all time, and got mullered up by a volcano, right? So you're supposed to believe that a band doing predominantly cover songs was picked up and sent to record in this studio that just happened to have the police there, right, with old Stuart Copeland and their members of their FBI family.
Yeah. Duran
Duran, Stevie Wonder,
Paul McCartney,
Dire Straits, Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye, Black Sabbath and Rush, Lou Reed, Eric Clapton, Elton John. Knocked out 3 studio albums there, right? So there's a great little video which you can find of the tourists rehearsing at Air Montserrat. Now, I couldn't find out how much it cost to go there back in the day. And you've got to remember in the 70s and 80s, there were huge budgets for new bands, right? So what was going on there? How was it possible? Because it was being manufactured, in my opinion, being manufactured to bring this person and this guy who, look, isn't it funny? Look at this. He is now taller than this person here in this picture. Now, maybe Dave is standing on a box. I don't know. But he's got the 5-star, what's it there? Look a bit more rock and roll. And then I looked into this and I thought, right, okay, let's have a look at Eddie Chin.
Stop laughing.
Good old British name.
Oh,
Eddie Chin. I mean, none of these people's names sound real, do they? Eddie Chin, Jim Toomey, and where's the other guy? Pete something or other, spelled P-E-E-T. It's quite funny because I looked into this and I thought, well, I wonder what's happening. Pete Coombs and Dave Stewart. Well, most of them are dead. Right, so Eddie Chin died, and I think Pete Coombs died, Pete Coombs died. Jim Toomey lives in Australia. And then I had a little look into the Eurythmics and the forming of the Eurythmics. And they pulled in some musicians to play on the first Eurythmics album. They're all dead as well. Right? And the producer... he's also dead as well, right? So it seems that there was it seems to me that there was only one guy, which I think is this guy here. I think, that's Jim Toomey, Eddie Chin.
Looks like something out of Chips.
Well, he looks like he looks like Bush out of the Karate Kid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But anyway, Jim Toomey is in Australia, right? But when you look into some of these things and you go, come on, none of this really adds up. The story of the rags to riches story just does not work. So anyway, so the tourists split up and then they form Eurythmics, and like I said, the first cover, or not the first cover, but one of the covers for where are we? Is this one. Where are we? Quick scroll down, bear with us. This. We Two Are One. Now, again, you've got the black and the white, the yin and the yang, the androgyny image. So, and it looks great. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a cool look. It looks good, right? That sort of alien-esque type of thing. But what are they talking about? I think we pulled this one up here.
Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it?
Yeah,
this Superwoman.
Yeah, this stabled fusion web. So androgynous fire heroine inspired by Annie Lennox. Stable fusion online. And then if I go back to... where are we? If I go back to this, and we look at Annie Lennox, right? Scroll down here. That's a great picture. They both look good in that picture there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so where is it? Well, anyway, basically what it said was that Annie was... oh, here it is here. Lennox was known for her androgyny during the 1980s, right? Well, it looks like Billy Idol there to me anyway, right?
Yeah.
Sweet Dreams Made of This, blah, 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 and so on. Now, everybody in popular music has an image, but again, it does not fit the story. This does not fit the story of the welder's daughter that goes off to be, super successful. And like we said, the diva, all this kind of stuff, it all looks pretty much like what it is, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's more, like you said, that diva picture looks a little bit like burlesque.
Well, it is the burlesque
Yes,
thing,
I know
isn't
it
it?
is,
Yeah.
but I mean, when you look at the film and the information you look at, there's a trend-setting thing here, and it's no different to all the other information that people look at. And if you actually look at what's there, the numerology thing, we've discussed that, and so many people have, and the guy that we've been following going around London.
Oh yeah, old Sam.
Old Sam with the 33s around London and all the religious. What's the word I'm looking
Implications.
for?
and all
Yeah,
that.
implications that have gone on and everything else. Everything links in, and it's there for a reason, because we're looking at generations of people that have come up listening to different types of music, from the Beatles, from early stuff. You talked about Charles Trenet, and that's something we'll talk about on another thing, I think.
That was a bit of a surprise.
I watched, as I said to you, I watched the I Want to Dance with Somebody on Netflix, the Whitney Houston documentary film that's on there, which is very interesting. Very interesting. And again, if you believe 5 or 10% of what's actually publicised, there's got to be some history there. The more you look into somebody's background, the more you believe it's just somebody that went from rags to riches, or were there other connections there which led to this person's success. And nobody's criticising them if it's been done for the right reasons, which a lot of the stuff has. If it's legitimate, it's everything else that's along with it.
Oh yeah.
At the same time, this satanic image.
And it is that. I mean, like we said, is when you look at I was reading in Mark's book again about Kate Bush, and what some of the possible content of the songs are, and you just say to yourself, well, come on a minute, that ain't right. In the old days, you'd look into that, you'd say, well, what on earth are they going on about, But we just jump around a little bit here. So we had a bit of a technical mishap there whilst trying to find out which husband apparently is who. So, as old Serge said, the one I got in this picture here, this guy here is the second. Well, this was the second husband, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yuri Shukman.
Right, okay.
From 1988 to 2000, who's a Israeli human rights activist, film producer and director.
Right, so we got him. Okay, this is the present guy, and his name is?
His name is Mitchell Besser. Dr. Mitchell Besser.
And we just tried typing his name in.
It let me do it before, but...
And anyway, and this is apparently his brother.
Yeah, who is Richard E. Besser.
Right. Yeah,
and it's quite funny, like you said, that somebody that's, from humble background, you might say that she was lucky, becomes so famous, is voted as the top British R&B female singer of all time. All these other awards, VH1, all the other types of things that we've looked at. That marries a Hare Krishna monk. There's not much information on the internet.
No,
her first husband in 1984 to 1985. Then marries this guy.
This guy here for 2 years.
Yeah, and has 2 children with him.
Which are the ones we're going to look into, right?
Yeah.
And he's not this one, but this bloke's.
And then marries this one, right? Who is an obstetrician and gynecologist, and his professional career, as you can find on the internet, has been dedicated to the public health needs of women. Nothing against women, but of course the public health needs of women. And he's from South Africa, an obstetrician and gynecologist in South Africa, and he saw the challenges faced by pregnant women and new mothers living with HIV and AIDS in the country, which inspired him to find resolutions. He founded the Mothers to Mother Corporation, which you've got a picture of the circle of, which that involves as well, which is an absolutely outstanding thing to actually do.
Where is it? Hang on.
There's one that you've got on there, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know, it was initially aimed at reducing the stigma and to improve healthcare services.
Now,
which I think is, like we said,
if it's real, it's an
there is. I've looked at the charity numbers. I've looked at the website.
Right?
I've looked at all the other things.
But then we look into this bloke's brother.
Well, we haven't finished with him yet.
Right.
We haven't finished with him yet.
We'll go back to him.
Which I think is really good because, you know, somebody that is involved in these type of things, and of course her connections as a political activist.
Yeah.
Right. He worked with Nelson Mandela and the Oxfam programme, the foundation. And I thought it was really funny when I looked at what the foundation to promote activism, social entrepreneurship in South Africa and go beyond, and it was 46664.
Of course it was.
Yeah. 46664.
Yeah.
The 3 6s.
Yeah.
Forget the 4s, they're in there for. What is it for? It's for 666. And I know we're playing with numbers, or I'm playing with numbers, but I found it very, very interesting. And he's dedicated, or his dedication is improving healthcare, providing support, and addressing the challenges for HIV and AIDS, which shows resilience and impact in maternity and child health, which is an amazing thing. And I hope nobody would criticise us, but we're talking about the links to all these people. And as Gary's already said, when you look at the family history for Lennox, and you look back into things, I'm sure if I looked into even more information in regards to her current husband and all the different type of corporations, everything else, there's always this power, there's always this governance that shows you this information. And then I thought, well, okay, well, on Wikipedia it says there's a bit of information in regards to her brother-in-law. Who is this guy? Who
suspect number 2.
Looks nothing like his brother, but there we go.
Anything like him. I mean, maybe they've got a different dad. You know, I mean, that's not unnormal.
No.
But this guy here,
he's an American doctor.
I mean, that's obviously one of these. He's been cut out and stuck on a background, right?
But he's an American doctor.
Yeah, with nefarious connections.
He's and executive who served as president and CEO of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. I didn't do much digging into that, but you can click onto it. But I did look at a load of other things, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Since 2017. He's also served as a director for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention.
Yeah. The good old
CDC.
Good old CDC. You know, they're the ones, if you remember, that if it hadn't been for them and a certain event in 2020, none of us would be looking at any of this. Yeah. So there you go. There's a bit of a tagline there, isn't there?
Yeah. Also, the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, the ATSDR, from January 2009. He was ABC's News former chief health and medical editor.
So he's a bit like Dr. Killery Jones in the UK.
And also has connection to the White House.
Yeah. So you know, again, we kind of lost our mojo there for a second because Neil was one step ahead of me, and I was pressing.
No. It just.
I pressed the wrong button.
It just wasn't bringing up the right picture for the right name.
Yeah, I can't remember whether. Like I said, we've looked at so many of these. Neil's thought this was a good picture anyway. This one here. It's a little bit like old Nanny McVie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, when you start looking at some of these things, and you just got to ask yourself the question again. Like I said, there's old Andy with the bath bag with the demon claw on his back, and whatever way you want to look at it.
Oh, the other thing I meant to say, which I forgot, when you look at her second husband, who's an Israeli human rights activist, film producer and director, ends up as the non-executive director of Ealing Studios.
Oh, there.
In London.
Yeah, so all involved in the big stage show and the movies and everything, right? So we looked at these pictures before, and I can't remember whether I'd already filmed them before whilst we were doing this, but there's old the tourists there with Eddie Chin, right? And I think actually, yeah, this is the bloke who now lives in Australia. He's dead, right? And then you look at the band Japan, who I used to be a bit of a fan of. There was old Mick Kahn there, David Sylvian and his brother Steve Jansen. Now, it's very difficult to tell the difference between. And you sent me these.
Yeah, I know.
It's oil on canvas. It's Dave Sylvian, and there's Dave Sylvian there again. It's very, very difficult to tell. And again, this was that, like Mark E would talk about, the androgynous period, you know, the Duran Durani thing and all that kind of stuff. And
Adam
so
Ant and all the rest.
Yeah,
of them.
all of them, like, you know, wearing the makeup and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
there, you know, there's loads of pictures that you can find where it just does not, today, it does not kind of feel right. Something very odd about all of this. And the other thing that came up with this, of course, was when we decided to then have a look into certain other characters. It looks like Fergie, right? The singer Fergie, right? So, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I really am not. You know, if these people are legit, genuine, then that's fine. Let's get rid of this one here, because we don't need that anymore. That's fine. But we start looking into these people here. So the family members, right?
So these are the second husbands, Yuri's.
Yeah.
children.
The guy, the sort of good-looking mush, right? So not the one with
Not the doctor.
not the one with the dodgy, right?
The gynecologist.
The gynecologist. I mean, come on, really?
We could go off.
Right. So again, I'm not saying, right? But
I've never heard a song that she sung.
no. So we're going to look at Lola, right? Well, now again, I read something. Of course, I should have screenshotted it. It's disappeared. But Lola, 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 right? It says that one of Annie's favourite bands was the Kinks, right? Well, of course, one of their most famous songs was Lola, which was a song about a certain type of man who dressed a certain way and went to clubs to pick up other men, right? So Annie decides to name her daughter the same name. That's neither here nor there. I mean, you can take that which way you want and spin it whatever way you want.
That's actually not a bad picture of her.
No. Well, you see, again, do we actually know if this person is even a singer? I don't know. Apparently it is, right? So we'll have a quick look down here. Now, where's the other one?
Tally.
Yeah, let's hang on. Give us a sec. Cut some of these bits out. There it is. Well, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how to sort of put. This is great hair, by the way, right? But when you look at the two pictures, and then you look at, say, again on the old wiki site here, you look at this person, you go, well, hold on a minute, they almost don't even look like the same person. I know this is one of those pictures, where has it gone here, right? But I'm afraid I distinctly see something lumpy going on there. And like old Serge said, he goes, look at the size of the hands. You can't zoom in, but you guys can zoom in on this. So, we'll, like I said, we'll have a quick look at this one. And again, what's quite funny is that here we go again. After studying at the Royal Academy of London, began a music career, she signed with X1X Entertainment.
Simon Fuller.
Hiring Simon Fuller. Now, me and Serge, he was a bit younger, we went to school with Simon Fuller.
Yeah.
Because Simon Fuller, he's Mr. 19, right, with Paul Hardcastle, and he's also the Teen Beats.
Yeah.
With Huggy. So we went to he was a couple of years older than us, but we went to school with him, And of course, he's the creator of the Idols TV format, right? Okay, so when you come down here, and again, we'll keep this a little bit short. So they're always the same, right? Aren't they? They're always a singer, a songwriter, a musician, and a model. No one's ever an accountant, a barrister, a plumber, a mother of three. They're always linked, instantly linked with the background of the family. But this is what cocked it for me. In April 2020, performed a duet with her and the historic, so it's historic.
Yeah.
One World Together at Home. Together at Home was a 2020 benefit concert organised by the Spinning Round Blue Ball citizens of New York and curated by singer Lady Bathbag in support of the World Health Organisation. And what were they actually supporting? Oh, just off the top of your head, locking you up in your house.
Yeah, for the old convid.
For the old convid, right? So, okay, so there must be an angel, the dark angel, I don't know what, right? But isn't it funny how, and I know we can do it because we've done it, during this particular time, and you only have to look into some of these people, the backgrounds and everything, the first singles and EPs came out in 2020, exactly the same time as this shit was going on, followed by 1, 2, 3 more, 4, 5 in 2021, 6 in 2022, and 2 in 2023. I've never heard of one of them.
No.
I'm sure if we took a close look, so somehow they were able to produce these records, right, which we know is very difficult to do in short periods of time, especially unless you've got studio equipment and so on. A lot of people do it on their laptops. I know that. I know you're going to say that, right? But I also I think I saved a picture here of, let me see. Maybe I did,
sister.
maybe I didn't. No, not a sister. We're going to go to a sister. We'll go to a sister in a minute. But anyway, I pulled up a picture of old Lola with a fiance. And you'll have to type it in yourself. You've got to do a bit of research yourself. Anyway, and he looks just like Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally identical. He's got the same hair, and he's got the same little FTM beard going on. It's a good-looking bloke, right? No Adam's apple. I'm afraid I would take one look at this and I would say there's something not quite right here. Well, of course, this was a few years ago, and now, after maybe a bit of treatment, this person looks even more feminine than it did then, or sort of did then. I don't know. That looks like Fergie out of Black Eyed Peas to me.
Yeah.
But then we come down and we're going to have a quick look here
At the other sister.
at the other one, right?
We'll let you think about who it is, but
Now I know this person's had their eyebrows plucked right back. That's what
bone structure.
Well, that's what Mark. That's what Mark
Yeah.
calls the can opener jaw, right? Normal women don't have faces like this, like Desperate Dan, right? I mean, that's kind of. I know they like this kind of image. Looks a little bit more girly there, right? But again, you notice slightly off kilter eye on the left. Look, there's always something not quite right, and I'm sure if we took pictures of people, we might find the odd one or two. That was the one that you meant about. This one here, right? Solidarity in Action, the circle, right?
The circle. Why a circle?
Oh yeah, well there you go. The portal, the circle of life. Maybe. I don't know. We may have got it wrong. No. I don't know. But when you look at some of this, and you've got to say to yourself, well, like we said, if we are anywhere near right about some of this, then some very serious things happen to young people when they were like this, right? Something odd happened during this period of time. I'm always skeptical of these companies that put these pictures out. Are these, or are they not? I don't know, but there is something very, very dodgy about all of this. And
it's not difficult to dress a girl as a boy or a boy as a girl.
No, we'll
and pass them off, is it?
Look at the old Transformer.
Yeah.
Megan Fox, right? Who whether for TV or for aesthetics said, well, actually, I'm a guy.
I'm a
right?
dude.
I'm a dude, right? And everyone goes, that's just her being funny. And it's like, well, all right then, but what if it isn't? That's what we're just saying. What if it isn't? And like we said, when you go back and you look at these people, we take these ones, they all pretty much follow the same. Where's the other one? They follow the same narrative all the time. You know, they always. I mean, this is a 5'10" agency, the Lions.
Look at that. Look, various fashion houses.
Yeah.
Acne Studios. Christopher Kane. Prada.
Yeah.
Moi Moi.
I'm sure if you looked into more of this, you'd find out. You know, you'd find out more and more. Lennox's long-term boyfriend was American artist and model. You know, of course, they're all going to stay in their
Bubble.
in their own little bubble, right?
Yeah.
But the reason of bringing this up, like I said, is you know when Chris and Dom said about this for me, this part of the history here. So you've got one here, Anne Lennox, spelt like Mum does, 1703. Then you've got come down here to the latest up-to-date one. Go and have a look, and you will see. Unless this is BS as well, going back to 1772, 1750, and when you come down here as well, 1705, you can't go back much more than 1700, which is normally about as far as they go back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pre-photography and everything.
Yeah.
That you will find you will find out that these people are all connected in one way or another. And Jim Do It To Me, who's the only one who seems to be still alive.
Jim Do It.
Jim Do It. Do it. He hasn't got a wiki page.
No.
But all the others have. Pete Coombs died 1997, so that was quite a long time ago,
Age
right?
43.
43. Right, so you know it's like these things. They carry little packages of doom around them with them wherever they go, and there's always some kind of unrest. And but you know, like we said, they all go to these academies, and there's nothing wrong in that, you know. But they make it out as if, like we said, like a welder's daughter was able to do that. And then became one of these influential people. And the other thing that we didn't bring up, and I think that again, as because of the marital background, is the HIV thing. So walks around with a T-shirt on with HIV positive on it. Well, when you look into again the background of the people involved in that, and you look at the fact that, or not fact because we don't really know, that Fauci was involved in all of that, and the same people and the same thing that they're pushing out today. These are, like we said, lifelong actors who are playing a part, and they all know. And he has definitely got wonky eye, and it's not just to do with the colour. His eye is looking in a slightly different direction, even in that picture there. And I know it's only a tiny little thing that a lot of people would say, well, there's a lot of people like that. Maybe there is. But old Marty Feldman there's no getting away with that there is, I don't know, there's something not quite right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So like I said, we try and keep this one a little bit short because you could go on forever. And it's not, like I said, it's not a dig at this band. It's not a dig at these guys.
No, I mean, you just have to look at all of the genres from that area. Like you said, Duran Duran, Spandau Ballet, OMD, all of those.
Well, Culture Club, all of it.
They all. And it's nothing to take away that they're great artists, great musicians, and they played a big part. Well, they played a big part in our upbringing, didn't they?
Oh yeah, Yeah,
with
I
the
wanted to
music
be in
scene.
Duran Duran. I wanted to be Roger
and
Taylor.
Stuff like that. But it's just about, well, you know, people just think, oh, wonderful, she's worked so hard, they've done this or they did that, and all the other things. It's only when you look into them, and there was a reason, and I can't remember what it was, whether it was somebody messaged me about it, and I said to you, and you said, well, take a look at it, that when you look at these things, you start relating it to all the other people online that are talking about the connotations behind all these images that are being shown, and what they actually mean, and how this video, internet and photographic programming has influenced people.
100%. Yeah.
For hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Even from the early stages, before there was all this type of stuff and there was internet, you know, illustrations like we've looked at.
Well, look at those pictures I sent you the other yesterday, with a fake Churchill standing on a mound with two blokes, right? And there are people peering out the window of an insurance company smiling. All the windows are broken.
Great big bomb crater.
Bomb crater, and there's not a scratch on the wall of the building. You can see it's all pasted together. But, you know, like I said, on this here, like old Serge was just saying, this is nothing new. But when I see this, and it's a cool picture, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not a cool picture, but as soon as I see this now, this sums it up for me, because I did one picture where I pointed a drumstick up at a camera to do with the schools, and it looks like I'm covering up my eye. I'm not. I'm looking down the length of the drumstick, right? But all the people I know, you would never see them doing this, right?
No.
Right, ever. And or doing this, you know, I mean, you should wear a dog collar and then you could be a vicar, which I'm sure that probably has been and it is a cool picture, but once again you've got the little, you know, it's not like this, is it? It's there, it is. It's the old circle again. But interesting thing, and I'm sure that there are lots of other people who would come up with some, you know, much more interesting stuff than what we've sort of presented here, but
and this wasn't a let's target the Eurythmics or
no, not at all.
Yeah, it was an interesting subject that came up because of, as I said, something that somebody sent me to say, if you looked into this, if you looked into the links, and how it links into so many other different organisations and corporations, and you know, when I start talking about the City of London one and the banking and all the other types of things, it all links in. They're all connected. They all have a link somewhere.
I mean, Annie's got whatever. Yeah. Whoever we want to call this person has got a stonkingly good voice, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dave Stewart, and it's quite funny with Dave Stewart. Of course, who is he working with now? Stevie Nicks, right? And or was working with Stevie Nicks. Well, I used to like Stevie Nicks, and now I'm like, oh no, right? But when you look at the songs, why is Stevie Nicks always walking through pillars? Why is Stevie Nicks always walking up staircases to bright lights? Why is Stevie Nicks even out still doing it? Why did Stevie Nicks dress in black and white all the time and have black and white symbology all the time? I don't know, maybe her excuse that made her look slim, I don't know. And then I listened to some of the songs done with Dave Stewart, and they are absolute garbage compared with the stuff that was done just after Fleetwood Mac, you know, like Stand Back, Prince and all that kind of stuff. But it's funny how these people, they have this period of time and they are, you know, they're right up there, and of course it has to it comes to an end. But another thing that I would say just quickly is, you notice that these people are always on a mission, but they are never on a mission to support other artists doing the same thing.
No,
ever. They don't create their own Eurythmics Songwriting Academy or anything. No, they go out, they win awards for being do-gooders, except when you actually look into the organisations they're doing good with, they're very sketchy individuals, aren't they?
I think so.
So anyway, well, with a few pictures there and a little mishap in the middle, which I'll have to edit out, which again was, but I mean, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't help you. You know, and I'm not saying that, but But there is something very wrong about all of this. And of course, things have improved as time's gone on. You know, as time's gone on, they're able to do certain things and make people look a certain way. And, you know, blokes who used to be bald have got big, thick heads of hair, you know, like Elon Musk. Bless that bless that poor old wiggy musk, that poor old girl. But anyway, well, I don't know how long we've rocked this one out for, but if this does not come out pre-Christmas Eve, this will come out just after. And as always, we've got it, like I said, old Serge is here for a week.
11 days.
11 days.
11 days.
It's almost
holiday.
A 2-week holiday.
Yeah.
And he lives 40 minutes up the road. So we're working on our solar stuff, or he is, because he's the master chef when it comes to that. We've got the old dog here. And then over the next few days, we're going to do the warning. What is the warning?
City of London.
And the City of London.
And the police and crime commissioners.
Yeah, because that's quite funny.
It's quite interesting because a lot of people won't know about that. It's just something that's passed by, and then they turn around and go, "Oh, really?"
And where does all this money come from?
Yeah.
And it certainly doesn't come from our pockets. I can tell you that right now. So anyway,
before we finish,
go on.
Just a quick thank you to everyone.
Oh yeah. And girls, the girls, it's a couple of girls who write on our stuff. Bless you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Great comments.
I think we were a bit sort of we rambled on a little bit here because we got thrown by the computer being a bit slow. But I think you get the idea. And as we've said before, you know, anybody who listens into this stuff, there's plenty of information out there, and it's like I said, it's not about having a dig at these people. Because I think all these people have probably gone, as Mark would say, through some kind of trauma during their lives, and they are probably not in a place where perhaps they wished they would be if they could go back. As Cher said, if I could turn back time and find another way.
She wrote that song herself.
Which she didn't. Why he didn't, whilst also saying it's a man's world.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to
go and get another glass of wine.
We're going to have a glass of wine. We're going to sign off on this one, and you can still see it recording there. Thanks, guys. I hope you have happy holidays and all that, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Au revoir.